Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I have an excellent game to share with you from 1988. On the white end, Mikhail Tal playing against Robert Forbis. Okay, the opening we work with is a Sicilian defense, and the variation, dragon. This is only a 30 mover. Tal really winning this one in style. Very flashy finish to this one to be sure. Let's get a few more developing moves in here out of this dragon variation. It's right about here where we see not so popular continuation. Black plays knight d7. Most popular from here, just mapping out some moves: bishop development, queenside castle, rook on a half open file, bishop on a more secure square. Black's approach is with knight d7, has an eye on the c4 square, would like to coordinate both knights there, and once established, it will land a fork. Black is looking to track this dark square bishop. Normally, a very good exchange for black, tracking down this dark square bishop. There is a cost connected with this idea. I'll touch on what that is soon enough. h4 from here, more attractive now that the knight has drifted away from the king's side. You're going to be able to get this break in and not worry about sacrificing any material. Knight b6, bishop b3. Following through here with this idea to hop into c4. Here comes h5. And there we go. The knight has officially tracked that dark square bishop. And we are now at the halfway point of the game. Now, what was the cost connected with this plan to track down that dark square bishop? It took quite a while for black to track that piece down. I mean, how many moves did that knight take? 5 moves to track a bishop. That only moved once. White has well-positioned pieces at the end of it all. The rooks in this position here stick out to me. Comparing the rooks, both white rooks, very active. H-file ready to be opened up at any moment. The knights are healthy in the center. The c3 knight ready to pounce here on d5. Good position here for white. This 2 knights versus 2 bishops position. Where do we go from here? Well, castles. The rook is still healthy. This is a half open file. Follow up e6. Computer doesn't like e6. What it has its eye on is a5 and then b5. And after there's a capture, or if there is a capture, follow-up idea of a4 to peel open the a file. Not how black plays it. Black takes some care over the d5 square, the knight jump. From here, f4. Now that the pawn is on e6, this break here, f5, a bit more attractive. More tension, more pawn exchanges. In general, going to be good news for white to open up a line towards the black king in this opposite sides castles game. Where do we go from here? Well, it's queen to b6. We continue with f5. And black responds in the best way here, ends up capturing on f5. If we look at a couple alternatives, for instance, let's say this pawn captures or pushes. What did Tal have up his sleeve in response to these moves? Well, I'll touch on just one of them. We'll have a look at this one. In both cases, whether it's the push or the capture, you can respond in the same way. What way is that? Knight d5 straight away. And in the event of pawn captures knight, it would already be checkmate in 5. With knight e7 check, only move, and now pawn captures g6. No time to take the queen. There would be mate. And there's no defense here. Pushing the pawn, you're asking for the sacrifice. Queen delivering mate on h6. And if you take like this, we would have a rook sacrifice, follow up check, and checkmate. So it would not be a good idea, in short, to flinch with this pawn and give this square up to the knight. It's that much more powerful as well, hitting with tempo, but there's an even bigger prize with this line here going after the king. The best move in the game, again, is this capture. I had a look at some other move. Let's say this rook was activated here and black kept this tension. How can you continue here? If that was the case, you could open the H file. And after this capture here, there's queen H3. In fact, regardless of how black recaptures on G6, queen H3 is a very good move, a top move. This is one of the ideas that has opened up with this F pawn advance. The queen's eyes have opened to H3. So if we look at a couple moves from here, if black were to capture, queen H3, very strong, threatening mate in 1. For rook moves, capturing on G6, rook here, it's going to be mate shortly, decisive attack. And it would be the same story if black recaptured here on G6, queen H3, very strong, threatening mate. And since black captured away from the center, there's also a problem now on E6. That's ready to collapse, targeting the bishop, opening up a square as well for the knight to pounce on D5. So very strong post here with the queen here on H3. Okay, how black responds to this tension. It's released, ends up capturing with the G pawn. Again, that's top. Recapture on F5. Follow up now, king to H8. No G pawn around. The king is more vulnerable on the G file. Possible checks in the air on G5 or G3. Okay, this H file no longer going to open up, so rook hops to the F file, in a way highlighting a downside with the king moved to the corner. There's one less square for the bishop, who's now ready to be squashed. F6 right around the corner. Now black's approach here is to swipe the knight with the follow-up idea to try and force a queen exchange. This turns out to be a faulty plan. Computer wants to play it as follows. Says a best line to take on F5. And this one here where we're actually pulled into an ending, a comfortable one for white. Strong knight on F5, supported well. Another knight ready to hop to another outpost square, supported with the other rook. Comfortable for white. All right, how it is playing out in this game after the rook here to the F file, it's bishop captures knight, rook captures bishop, and now E5, thinking the rook has to move and we're going to get some queen exchange. Not the case. Queen H6 is winning. It doesn't matter how black captures the rook. Decisive advantage here for white now. In the game, it's queen captures rook. If you take with the pawn, the winning idea would not be with F6, because rook G8 is there to cover G7 in time. But you would be winning with queen F6 check, only move, and now H6, the H pawn, equally excited to be established on the 6th rank, supporting queen G7, mate. This is unavoidable. Okay, things are a bit different with the move in the game here. Queen captures rook. Follow up from here, queen F6 check. Only move. And from here we see knight D5. Now, if you try queen check on G5 here, with then the follow-up H6, rook G8 would not be the way to defend because queen F6 check, and then mate, but this is where the resource E4 would show up, and the queen is there supporting or covering the mate threat on G7. If F6 now, rook G8 is there, black is defending. So an interesting defensive post there for the queen. How it is played in this game, after the king goes to G8, it's knight to D5. Now this turns out to be well, it gives black a window to save the game. Black does not find the way. The winning way is with h6 at this stage. And in the event of queen g4 to cover, you'd have to try this. This is how white could continue. There's rook f3 with this idea of knight e2 and rook g3. This is decisive. Now, at the end of the video, when I show the graph, it's not completely accurate. This happens from time to time. It's saying right around here that it's still, black is still in the game. Not the case. It's decisive here for white. Not how it is played here. No h6, it's knight to d5. Follow up from here is rook f to e8. There is a mate threat on e7. One of the things Tal is saying with knight to d5, if you take my knight, now I go in for the line queen g5 check, and then h6. This is met with a mate in 2, and the queen is out of position to cover g7 because of the capture of the knight. No longer on this diagonal. So the knight, in short here on d5, is poison. There was only one idea really here for black to try and stay in this game. It says h6 is a way. This prevents knight e7 checkmate. The king has a square to work with. Black does not play this move. The play from here is with rook f to e8. Follow up queen g5 check. King goes to the corner here. If king f8, if you go here, this will lead to mate with queen h6 check. Knight f6 check. Look at how the white pieces are pouncing on these weakened dark squares. No dark square bishop around. Yeah, we would have mate here on h7. So that's how it would play out if the king goes to f8 here. In the game, it's king h8. Follow up h6. Mate in 1 threat. e4 is there to defend for just the moment. Now comes f6, cutting off the queen's defense. And from here, rook g8. Pop quiz. How would you continue here? Feel free to pause the video. Okay, a flashy finish to this one. Mate in 3 from here. Did you spot it? Queen g7, check. Gotta take the queen. And it does matter which direction you take the rook. Don't take with the f-pawn. Queen is there to recapture, and black is saved. Okay, you take towards the center in this case. Only one legal move, king g8. And there we go, knight e7, checkmate. Beautiful finish to this one. What are your thoughts? Feel free, as usual, to leave any feedback to this video in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe took a thing or two away. That's all for now. Take care.